Hello pals. You find me and the Ziggy dog on a Sunday morning wandering through Dimmock Woods, or Queen's Woods I think it's called, referred to. One of my favourite places, but I haven't been here for quite a long time. I'm trying to remember. It's possibly late spring, probably end of spring, early summer when I was here last. But here I am, here we are, plodding through the dry paths and the various bits of detritus that have fallen from the trees, all that kind of stuff. We're preparing for autumn, of course. There isn't a new drop yet. Everything looks still quite nice and green and lush, but give it a month or so, I think, and then it'll all start withering away. Today I have a jumper tied around my waist, like a good walker does, prepared in case it gets a bit chilly, but I don't think it will. The clouds look a bit grey in the sky, but I think it'll hold off, I hope. So, a Sunday walk, musing as I do so. The dog is perfectly happy chasing, I don't know, rabbits, cockroaches, skunks, whatever, I don't know. Keeps coming back every now and again when I whistle, but he's gone most of the time. Yeah, so what am I musing on? Well, early this morning I've been putting together another prototype of a matchbox-based game for the museum's gift shop. I've been getting quite a lot of these ideas from just sitting in the shop in the quiet times, sitting in the museum and cogitating on how tiddlywinks could be repurposed for the 21st century, or what else to do with matchsticks apart from the obvious. So this one is called Matchio, M-A-T-C-H-I-O, the C-H-I-O being a rather clever repurposing of the C-H-I-O abbreviation for the something or other, Hippostratic Internationale something or other. The biggest equestrian event in the world, sort of Essenspiel, but for horses. So it's a show jumping game with matchsticks and cubes and tiddlywinks, basically. So yeah, you stack up cubes, balance matchsticks on and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that was quite fun putting that together. It goes with 7 or 8 other prototypes now. So quietly test those. I mean, I can be quite devious and try them out in the museum when I get families in and so on. Get them to try out these innocent, straightforward games. It'd be quite a nice little catalogue. I'll have my own little display of differing products. I might have to increase production, I think, for some of them, particularly Formula Ovine, which is the official one that's completed. I know Firebox is kind of around and about, but I need to put some copies together for the Ben Parkinson thing from it must be about 3 years ago now, when that crowdfunding thing was going on. But yeah, Formula Ovine ready in time for the Gathering of Chums, which, as far as we know, is still going ahead. Subject to, of course, whatever our government decides in October. Whether, once again, it plans to do something, sits on its arse for a bit, waits till it's too late and then implements it anyway, and then everybody's fucked regardless of which way you look anyway. So Gathering Chum's still on at the moment. That'd be quite fun. I was thinking of extending it, actually, seeing as I'm not going to Essen this year again, which makes me deeply sad, because I won't get to see Ben and Uli and all the other, Matthias and all the other wonderful folk. Mind you, half the folk I would have seen aren't going to be there anyway, because they're just not going with the companies that they go with. Yeah, so I'm thinking, actually, instead of taking the time off work as I would have done in October, for that lovely long week into the weekend, taking maybe a couple of extra days over the weekend of the Gathering of Chums. Yeah, just extend it a couple of days. Maybe open the museum on the Thursday and just play games for anybody that's around early. Certainly, I can be there on a Friday when often the North Wales contingent arrive a little bit early. So, yeah, it'd be great to do that. Sitting in the museum's quite fun. I'm on my Saturday stint, because I'm getting my boy Benedict to do the Friday. On the Saturday, it starts slow, but there's always something going on. The last few weeks I've had some families pop in. This week, yesterday, I had a couple who'd flown in their little aeroplane to the Ledbury airfield, and were waiting to take off again because the weather was not so clear for them this morning, or that morning, whenever it was. So a friend of theirs said, why don't you come to Newington and take a look at this new museum? So they did, and they enjoyed it, and they did the questionnaires, and they were around for an hour and a half, and we chatted about aeroplanes, and I admired the app he had on his iPad, which full navigation mode on this iPad. He says he sticks it in the cockpit. It's better than any instrument he's got in his aeroplane because it gives him GPS and nearby signalling points and airfields and all sorts of stuff. So yeah, that was really good. They enthused, said their families, being gamers, would love to come back with all of them in tow, and probably left with a couple of Ivors, a Luxor Turner and a Formula Ovine in a bag. So that was nice. Kind of made me worth opening it for the day. I mean, I'm not making oodles of money hand over fist, but it's ticking itself along, which is nice. The biggest problem I have actually is trying to get Payoneer, who was supposed to receive my Patreon funds, to approve my fucking account. Raised it beginning of August and they still haven't approved it. They keep sending me emails saying, one more thing, you just need to send us something else with a proof of address of something or other. It just goes on and fucking on. So what I've done actually is I've changed my Patreon payout to go to PayPal instead. And until it's resolved, I'm going to have to sit on it, I think. Keep it in Patreon. Because if Payoneer doesn't work out, then anything that would have transferred across to it will be lost. And that's a waste of my patrons' money. Well, actually, I say lost. You'd be damn sure that Payoneer won't let it go anywhere else apart from their own fucking account. So depressing. They're a small business. Has to jump through so many fucking hoops. And they just don't get back to you. Anyway. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, Chum's long weekend. I mean, I would love to go to Essen to see the guys, and I know a few folks like Nick, hello Nick, are going. I just can't quite get over the worry that I travel all that way, spend all that money, and then there'd be some shit fucking reason why I can't enter the building, or I can't enter the country, or I can't enter a car park, or the B&B cancels at the last minute, or some fucking shit I can't be doing with that anxiety. Heaven knows it's been topsy-turvy a couple of years, isn't it? Still, there is good news always, of course, with the arrival of Lila, a gamer in waiting, of course. I mean, we're going to have to wait maybe 4 or 5 years before we start introducing her to Habba games and all that kind of stuff, but I have to admit to feeling really quite nostalgic and joyous and a little bit tearful every time I pop by and have a cuddle with the bubbers. Takes me back to when all of mine were that tiny, and it doesn't seem that long ago, but of course it was. I mean, my eldest has just moved to Totnes. She's 27 this year, and I can still clearly remember the day she was born and the abject terror with which I cradled her for the first time, because I didn't want to drop her and I didn't know what the hell we were supposed to do next, and would she stay alive to reach her first birthday, and all the terrible worries that you have, anxieties. And we were just young couple, married a couple of years, living in our first house, 2 up and 2 down in Cheltenham. I had a permy job, of course. I was set up for a career at Government Communications Headquarters. I could have stayed there, and in fact now, looking back, I would have got my gold clock by now. I think my 25 years service by now. Who knows where I would have gone, what I would be doing, what I would have done, but it was never to be. My path was to be self-employed, work for myself. Certainly wouldn't have been designing board games. I don't think I wouldn't have gone to Essen, because Surprise Day Games wouldn't have been born. I wouldn't have had all those astonishing and wonderful experiences. back to conventions again. I guess I've been watching the Gen Con coverage with a little bit of envy. Not too much though, because I've never been to Gen Con, so I'm not really missing out on anything. But I do enjoy seeing Eric Martin's review, a pocket review of games as they sort of put by. And the stacks, the dwindling stacks, the mythical, look, we've nearly sold out and we've only been here a day and a half. Those kinds of photos and social media postings. The fact that they only brought 50 copies a day anyway, doesn't matter, does it? I think a lot of people are pleased to be there, company-wise, especially. I know the punters would be, but I think from a company perspective, yeah, just to be back out there. I mean, it's nothing like it being an exhibitor at a big show like that. It's exciting, and there's a lot of adrenaline and fun and fuss and excitement and joy and expectation. You wander in early, you set up, you wait, you rub your hands, you keep yourself warm, you keep yourself hydrated, and you just get through the day, and the simple pleasures of kind of doing all of that. And of course I won't be able to do that, and not unless I have so much success with my Matchbox line of games that I just, oh, for fuck's sake, Ziggy. Oh, he's just found the muddiest pool with the muddiest lead into it, the muddiest beach, if you like. And he's just waded through it right up to his fucking tits. So now he's a black and white dog on top and, oh, get out of it, you dirty fucking Herbert. Oh my God. Oh no, that's it. Now he's completely brown from belly to fucking toenail. Come on. Ugh. Don't you fucking shake off me. Go on. Oh. He had a lovely grooming this week. He was off and he has cleaned and he was nipped and tucked and trimmed and shaved and all the things that a good dog should be. And he came back smelling beautiful and looking very smart. And now, look at you, like a fucking dishcloth that's been left in the garden all winter. Oh. Let's have a fucking bath now. Sorry for the language. Yeah, envy, Gen Con envy, sort of. What else has been going on? Well, I've been paying not very much attention to game releases, all that kind of stuff. I mean, I've been noodling about with my game designs course, my Nussfjord work with the tourist deck, the Shad deck. Everyone needs a Shad. Oh, by the way, has everybody noticed that I've changed the name of the blog from Every Man Needs a Shed to Everyone Needs a Shed? I think it's about time I came out of the fucking 20th century and took myself forward a bit, really. And that was a little acknowledgement of all of that. I mean, it came shortly after I took my spring hiatus. You know, when it all got a little bit much and I had to go away for a while and gather my thoughts and pull my socks up, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, so all my social media interactions now are in relation to the museum, basically, and I do it through the museum's Facebook account, the museum's Patreon account, so patrons get a little sneak peek of things, they get early looks, they get exclusive posts, that kind of stuff. And the Instagram, which I know is Facebook as well, but, there's a lot of people who don't realise the two are connected and they live in one or the other world. I will not do Twitter, though, because Twitter is a cesspool of mega cuntage and oily shitness, which I would rather stay away from. Utterly depressing forum. If I do venture that way, I find lots of people who I like telling me how terrible everything is and offering no solutions. It's just a catalogue of how terrible it all is, and I know how terrible it all is. And I'd rather forget. I'd rather sit there in my little shop full of board games and enjoy the tranquility therein. Another thing happened at the weekend, by the way, was a chap called Steve popped by with a donation from his father's board game collection. And amongst them were the Big Four from Gibson's, the L'Attaque Naval Patrol, Dover Patrol, I think it is, actually, the Air Force version of that game, and Tritactics. And I think it's the Navy one. It's still got some bits of paper with his father's strategies written down on there, which is rather lovely. So we're talking sort of an octogenarian, I imagine, who's passed on, and his son has very kindly bequeathed me this lovely collection of bits and bobs. I already have copies of those games in the museum, but These are in superlative condition and are eminently excellent for playing in the shop. So I shall have to have a Big Four games day at some point, a tournament of some kind. And we shall see. I mean, I've got so many ideas. It's trying to get people to come along to them is quite difficult. The Wednesday evening games club at the museum is basically populated by Jerv and myself, and occasionally John and occasionally Ben, if they remember to come along, and Ian, who popped on last Wednesday. Ian very, very kindly joined me, so we played some two-player stuff. We played Totemo two-player. Reminded that A, I really like my designer, that is Totemo, and B, really needs to get reprinted. It is it's a rather lovely thing. Now have I taken the wrong turn? I think I've missed a junction. I'm going to go back a bit and see if I can get the right junction. Come on, Zig! Maybe I took the wrong pathway here. Yeah, Ian and I played Cousins War as well, which is tremendous fun, actually. What a fucking great design that is. Alan responded to my quick post about it on Facebook by saying that they're printing a 3rd edition of Cousins War soon, coming in January. Now that is excellent news, because Cousins War is a fantastic game. And for Surprise Dare Games to be able to feel able enough to produce a 3rd edition, because there's still that demand for it, I think that's absolutely fantastic. A testament, as I always say, a testament to David's design and to Alan's development skills. It's brilliant. Oh, hang on. Ziggy, as always, bouncing through the trees, bouncing through the undergrowth, missing the enormous fucking rabbit that's been stood there watching him for the last 2 minutes. He'll latch on in a bit, I think. He'll realise by which time it'll be too late and the rabbit will have scarpered. I mean, it could be a fucking deer and he wouldn't notice it. He is a dog of little brain, but we love him immensely. Oh dear, no, I think I might have wandered on the wrong path again. Oh dear, it's all changed. See, that's what happens when you don't come here for months. Things grow, paths get obscured, and then one gets lost. Right, I'm going to have to go and backtrack on myself. I think that's probably enough, really. I've mused and mumbled and wittered on a bit. And I've distracted myself to the point of becoming hopelessly lost. So, farewell, chums. Have a lovely day, whatever day it is that you're listening to this. And see you / speak to you soon.